Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the poem written by William Wordsworth, Lines Written in Early Spring. Like any other Wordsworth poems, Lines Written in Early Spring is also a poem greatly related to nature. It's a landscape poem. That is, the setting or the location of the poem is a landscape. The narrator is the poet himself. He sits under a tree in the wilderness and thinks aloud in the changes happening in the society. The poet appreciates the beauty of nature around him. At the same time, his thoughts turn to the misery of man and the miseries that men impose to one another. Most of the Wordsworth poems have an undercurrent of sadness and melancholic mood. At the time of writing this poem, the French Revolution was raging through France. It was really a great cultural shock to the British literary society, and William Wordsworth was no exception. They were stunned by the cruelty and the violence of French society, and in that period almost all the poems carried the shades of it. Lines Written in Early Spring was one such poem. Look at these lines. I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in grew I sate reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. Look at the phrases, 1,000 blended notes. It refers to the immense amount of music that nature produces. It also gives a divinity to nature. You may also note that nature assumes a personality in the very first quatrain itself. This the poet also tries to blend two opposing moods. Look at the phrases sweet mood and sad thoughts. This helps the readers to reach at the core of the poem. Now see these lines. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Here, the poet's thoughts move from nature to man. He recollects the misery that other humans have caused each other. The poet also states that nature is linked to humanity. It is linked through the nature soul. The nature soul is a synonym of humanity. Although it has been forgotten by the rest of the world, it's man's natural state to be close to nature. This was one of Wordsworth's principal philosophies. It was man's innate state to be close to nature. Through primrose tuft in the green bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and it's my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. In this quatrain, the presence of nature as a living thing strikes again through the verbs used. Trailed for the periwinkle, breathes for the flowers. Throughout this poem, Wordsworth does his best to create the idea of a living, breathing world that is only a fraction removed from humanity. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. Here also we can see the presence of movement. Another contrasting pair also seen there, the movement in nature and the immobile poet. It is nature that draws the reader's attention. The poet has no physical presence in the poem, no thoughts, no personality, no ideas. His world is submerged by the stronger one, the nature. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heavens be bent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Wordsworth ends the poem with the same lament that was mentioned earlier. Have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Throughout the poem, there was the attempt by nature to heal the injured soul of the speaker, that's the poet. The poet's spirit are still melancholy and low. which negates the healing effect that Wordsworth claimed nature possessed. It ends on a somber, sad note. The world of nature is untouched by the mysteries of humanity, but the human soul, bound in its rigid cage of mortality and reason, is left behind to experience the misery of the human world. So, in short, through this poem, Wordsworth describes a bittersweet moment through which he compares man and nature, what man has done to nature and to himself. Thank you. This is A.V. Santosh Kumar signing off.